It used to be America was always a can-do country, They used to say, well, we're broke, so we can do it. We can get by. America's always been that can-do nation. The first pioneers of the American continent, when we look at this budget, it brings up this subject that they came over here with little more than a box of tools and a pack of food and an attitude that built a nation of 13 colonies that eventually became the most powerful nation of the world. They moved west in wagon trains with little more than that, and they settled in lands that vermin couldn't live on. Now, America moved on to fight a civil war and managed to live peacefully after their disagreements had settled and amass a huge industrial machine that fueled European prosperity as well as our own. If you've noticed in the news today that Europe has one of the highest unemployment rates it's ever had. Because why? Because we're not buying their products. The American economy is in the tank. When most of the world was bent on fighting in World War I, Wilson had the idea that the world could live in peace, work toward the League of Nations. Eventually, it became the United Nations. When it was England's darkest hour, Nazism was draped over the European economy. It was American supply, American economy, and the American know-how that turned the tide of the war. It would have stagnated into another World War I if it wasn't for us. It was the American idea of can-do that eventually led us to landing on the moon. Still, we're the only country to have done so. And then we began to explore the cosmos with satellites and other technologies. When countries are in trouble, when disaster strikes, it's America that comes to the world's need with enormous amounts of food, supplies, and charity from its own citizens, not from its government. America. And yet there seems to be this malaise about America today. It's an attitude we have to raise taxes to pay our bills, an attitude that we can't cut spending, a belief that somehow America stands for corruption, that's how we got wealthy, that American way is not always the best way. Well, that may be true for some nations, but America's prosperity comes mainly from its form of government, where people have an equal say and share in power through its various branches. It's the very freedom we allow ourselves and the capitalist economy we developed that was the basis for our historical success. Not to hear the president tell it. He seems to think America isn't all that great. He wants to constantly spend more money and raise our debt and couch our prosperity behind a wall of corruption. He believes that America can't solve its problems without outside help, that the international community has better answers than we do to the issues at hand today. Look at it and tell me that's not a solution over there. They've got high unemployment. France is taxing its people at 90%. We can't protect our own borders, so we allow massive illegal immigration in. It can't be done, is the mantra in Washington today. We can't continue to expand our exploration of outer space. Go get help from the Muslims, he actually said. He actually said that. He told that to the head of NASA. He speaks to the rest of the world in terms of apologies rather than leadership. Instead of telling the world to follow our example of hard work and freedom for its people, he asked for their forgiveness. That's not the America we built. This don't, President, not a can do. Truman used to have a sign on his desk, buck stops here. Obama probably has one that says the buck is Bush's fault. Leadership, in order to be successful, needs to lead and not follow. Teamwork and diplomacy is all well and good, but teamwork cannot succeed without a strong ethic and example which America can provide. Sitting in a group and apologizing for your success simply weakens the group as a whole. Our president needs to stand up and say, yes, we can close our borders. Let's do this. Yes, we can, and here's how. Not, no, we can't, and here's why. That's what America has lost. We need to focus on electing people who believe in a strong America. We need to lead America back into that can-do mentality. We need to restore conservative thought, not necessarily Republicans, but leaders who believe in the core platform of conservative thought, namely less government, lower taxes, and a strong national defense. Those three things. We need to focus on it, and we need to win the election in 2014. That's not difficult to understand. A candidate would win on that platform. You don't need a fancy education or lengthy exposition of theories or points. And I'm going to leave you with that thought. Think about that until next week. Have a good weekend. Enjoy yourself. Go out and spend some money. And remember, America is a can-do nation. It's not a can't. Take care and have a good weekend, all right? See you on Monday.